Hello, beautiful people. It's a brand new day, and I'm super excited that you tune into my podcast for today. Thank you very, very much. And I know you will never regret that you did, because today's podcast is a whole package, and you will never regret that you listened to it. I really want to appreciate everyone who took our time to listen to my previous podcast. I'm super, super grateful. Thank you so much. And also special appreciation to everyone who wished me well on my birthday. My birthday was indeed a superb experience, a fulfilling one at that. I enjoyed myself so well with friends and colleagues, and even with those who I mentor. It was really an amazing experience. Thank you all so much for wishing me well. I am super, super grateful, and I'm energized to accomplish more in this, even my new year. Thank you so much. Today's podcast is taking a cue from what we discussed last week, which was titled Understanding Your Design. I made us to understand that every product has its own unique design, and it is the design that determines the functions and the purpose of which the product was made. And so if every one of us will understand our design, then we will surely achieve greatness and become all that we want to be. I made us to understand that we should feed our strengths and starve our weaknesses, because our uniqueness is in our design. Just the same way our fingerprints are different from everyone, over 7 billion people in the world, so also our design, our strengths are unique. We should always stay in our strength zone. Never compete with others. Stay in your strength zone. I talked about ways on which we can discover our strengths. Number one, I talked about from the creator, that is our manufacturer. Every manufacturer determines the design of the product. And you will know that the design determines the problem that product has been created to solve. Now, if every one of us must discover our life's purpose, must discover our design, then we must submit ourselves to our creator, and him alone can make us understand the design and how well he has equipped us and the problems he has created us to solve. Every creator determines the purpose of the creation. So also, just the same way every inventor determines the purpose of which the product that have been invented will serve. So each and every one of us, we have great design, and if only we can subject ourselves to our creator, it will enable us to discover it. Number two, I made us try and error. That if only we can, how well can you know you can do something if you haven't tried? We should be open to try new things, willing to serve, if possible, volunteer your services, and by that doing, you'll be able to discover your strengths and your weaknesses. Number three, I talked about listening to counsel. That is the counsel of others. Our eyes are in front for a reason, because we cannot see behind. So also, mentors, coaches, and friends, counselors, they help us see those things that we cannot really see about ourselves. They also help us to see the big picture. So number four, I talked about personality tests, that every one of us, we are wired differently. Our personalities are different. So if we understand our personalities, then we'll be able to understand our design. Number five, experiences. If we can live in retrospect and ask ourselves about all the experiences that we have gone through, we're able to discover that there are some things that are our pain points, some things that are our passion. There are some things we do so well, and some things we don't. And so if we can maximize those our strengths, we'll surely accomplish our best. So today's podcast is titled Made for More. Made for More. Dealing with complacency, mediocrity, and laziness. We are blessed with so much potentials that are yet to be released to the world. The late Dr. Miles Muro, while he was yet alive, he talked about the need for us to die empty. He said the richest place on planet Earth is not the gold mines of South Africa, but the cemetery. He discovered that so many persons that have died, they truly did not maximize their potentials, and so they went to the grave with books that were never written, songs that were never sung, and the likes. So it made us to understand that we must die empty and ensure to be able to discover and deploy all our potentials in order to make mankind, in order to solve problems for mankind. And so each and every one of us should never settle for less, because there's so much that we can give to our world. Complacency is self-satisfaction, especially when accompanied by unawareness of actual dangers or deficiencies. It is also an instance of usually unaware or uninformed self-satisfaction. I will say that again. Complacency is self-satisfaction, especially when accompanied by unawareness of actual dangers or deficiencies. It is also an instance of usually unaware or uninformed self-satisfaction. So many of us are satisfied with where we are, and that's not good, and that's not right. Success can be a breeding ground for complacency. Your greatest problem is not your enemies, but your last success. Because if you are not careful, it can be your Waterloo. So each and every one of us must understand that we have been made for so much more. We have so much capacity and things that have been built inside of us that is yet to be released to our world. So never allow yourself to be complacent. Self-satisfaction is an illusion. There's so much more that each and every one of us can accomplish. Never allow yourself to remain in that position that you are. You have so much. We have so much that we can do. There's so much potentials that are lying dormant inside each and every one of us that if only we can deploy them, we can accomplish our best. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "Whatever your life's work is, do it well. A man should do his job so well that the living, the dead, and the unborn could do it no better." Whatever your life's work is, whatever you have been, since you have come to discover your design, your strength, deploy it to ensure that humanity is blessed. Do not go to the grave without accomplishing all that you have been, all that have been built inside of you. Bill Gates once said, "Success is a lousy teacher. It seduces smart people into thinking they can't lose." And that's so true. Success can be your greatest enemy. Never settle for less. There are so much that have been built inside of you that the world is waiting for to see. Complacency is the quiet sense of security or satisfaction with the status quo that prevents a person from acknowledging the potential dangers or risks around them. There are so much we can accomplish. Do not settle with the status quo. Strive to achieve your best. Strive to do more, because there's so much you can accomplish that even you yourself can have not been able to discover. Martin Luther King Jr. also said, "If a man is called to be a street sweeper, he should sweep streets even as Michelangelo painted, or Beethoven composed music, or Shakespeare wrote poetry. He should sweep streets so that all the host of heaven and earth will pause to say, 'Here lived a great sweeper who did his job well.'" I will say that again. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "If a man is called to be a street sweeper, he should sweep streets even as Michelangelo painted, or Beethoven composed music, or Shakespeare wrote poetry. He should sweep streets so that all the host of heaven and earth will pause to say, 'Here lived a great sweeper who did his job well.'" This is so apt and superb. Whatever your life's work is, whatever you have been called to do, do it well. Do your best. Do not settle for less. Every one of us, we can achieve more. We can achieve more than we think that we are. Great men who we celebrate today, they are those who never settled for less. They never they never allowed the status quo to define them. They made sure that they made up their minds to accomplish great feats, and they were able to accomplish that. Do not be complacent. Mediocrity is a state of moderate or low quality, value, ability, or performance. It also means to be ordinary. Do not be a mediocre. You can be excellent. You can do so much. Do not allow laziness, mediocrity to be your Waterloo, to be your great hindrance. Always strive to achieve more. I'll be talking about about 5 ways on which we can overcome complacency. Number 1, consistently work at achieving your goals. We are about to enter into the second half of the year, and each and every one of us, I would want each and every one of us to review our goals. I know the pandemic has brought a halt to so many of our dreams and our aspirations, but this second half of the year is another time for us to sit down and write down our goals and be consistent in achieving them. So, how do you want the next 6 months to be? Do not be complacent. Don't be caught in the illusion of give an excuse that COVID-19 is what made me to be where I am now. Don't give in to that kind of excuse. Even in spite of the pandemic, so many persons are still making a whole lot of fortune. So each and every one of us should think on new ways, set new goals, and be consistent to accomplish them. Number 2, find purpose and meaning in your goals. Complacency likes to reside in those who don't understand their why. So those goals that you have set, why do you want to accomplish them? Because complacency will follow those who lack purpose. Only those who have a sense of purpose and a sense of their design will be able to accomplish greatness. So always ask your why, and always find purpose and meaning in your goals. Number 3, establish an unbreakable commitment to yourself and increase your personal standards. Make a commitment to grow daily. Even as the saying goes, Rome was not built in a day. Every one of us, only those who are committed, will surely achieve greatness. We are made for so much more. Do not make daily commitments that will ensure that you accomplish your best. Number 4, remind yourself you are running out of time. So many of us are caught in the illusion of there is so much time, but I want to tell us that time is running out, and the only guarantee is that you have is now. Nobody knows what tomorrow will bring forth. A wise man once said, the best time to start was yesterday. The second best time is right now. So ensure that you start now. Get over the illusion that there is so much time, and always push for greatness. Number 5, practice self-forgiveness and establish a new personal identity. I know sometimes our failures can breed complacency. So no matter what failures that you may have encountered in your journey, learn to forgive yourself. Whatever the mistakes that you may have made that have made you not want to push more, get over it and ensure that you can become the best. So I want each and every one of us to die empty. We have so much potential as the world is waiting to see, and so many things that can come out of our lives that our world is waiting to see. Thank you very much for listening to my podcast for today, and I'm super grateful that you tuned in. Do well not to only be a hearer but a doer, and I promise that you discover that your life will change and take a new direction. I remain your host, Ulobo Andrew, and I'm always committed to ensure that you get better and ensuring that you become a better version of yourself. Thank you so much, and God bless. Do well to comment, do well to like, and do well to share in your various social media handle. I will be super grateful. Thank you so much, and God bless.